Part 1. The Father. Chapter 1. The Shooting. The guns fed us. No one, after all, makes a living retailing junk food. Not one good enough to support a wife and 4 sons, anyway. The bullets and the barrels, sold right alongside the soda bottles and the Slim Jims, put food on the table and gave us a home. Us and Dad's employees, both of whom had gone home early that night from the dirty little store on the outskirts of Fresno, California. Once home, Dad could look forward to adding receipts and counting money long into the night. It might even take him longer if his sons bristled again at helping, or, even better, tempted him into a rubber band war. Closing time, especially by himself, was a chore. But it didn't require him to be a husband or a handyman or a father or a disciplinarian. All he had to do between the flipping of the close sign and the pulling of the car into his driveway, which probably needed to be cleared of bikes and toys, was to perform the routine. Close out the register, lock the freezer, put away the inventory, shut off the lights, and secure the door with a deadbolt and lock on the way out. It took Dad a good 15 minutes to pack up the dozens of guns by himself. During business hours, they rested in 2 display cases doubling as the store's front counters. Now and laters in trucker hats made a pit stop on top of the 45s and 30-06s on the way out the door. Dangling yellow tags attached to the guns on tiny white strings shouted the sale price from behind the clean, always clear glass. At around 5:30 p.m., Dad removed the guns quickly, one by one, and placed them with great care into 2 long, black clamshell cases for storage during the night. At around 5:30 p.m., Dad removed the guns quickly, one by one, and placed them with great care into the 2 long, black clamshell cases for storage during the night. Without markers or leftover impressions on the foam pads lining the inside, he still knew the precise placement of each handgun and rifle inside their carriages. Once packed, he'd transport them into the iron safe in the storage room just behind the freezers. Dad performed this routine night after night with little incident, with the exception of that night. On that night, he never made it to the safe. Neither did the guns. The 2 masked men kicked in the front door with a shout. "You're dead, sucker!" Their semi-automatics lit up only 15 feet away from the fat man behind the counter, ejecting bullet after bullet directly at him. The first sailed towards Dad's chest. It missed. The next rocketed into his stomach, forcing him to double over from the impact. But not from the pain. That hadn't registered yet. Dad made a grab for his own gun stuck between the waistband of his pants and his hip. He got the weapon up and out, but didn't have enough time to do anything productive with it as more bullets tore with great speed through his muscle and flesh, his body jerking with the impact of each one as it burst into him. His gun fell to the floor as he did, with a thud behind the display cases still filled with all the firearms he hadn't had a chance to pack up yet. The see-through glass fronts of the cases exploded into twinkling shards as the 2 men fired into them. Quickly, one of them collected the store's most valuable merchandise into a bag, while the other shooter fired even more bullets, this time at point-blank range up and down my father's body as he lay on the floor. Satisfied the store's owner could not survive such a barrage, the men then worked together to gather up the rest of the spoils. When they were done, the only thing left on the carpeted shelves lining the now broken cases was the broken glass. With his pants and shirt already soaked red, Dad had just enough of his wits to grab his gun off the floor to fight back. On his back and without much mobility, his mind ignored the quickly rising swells of enormous torment in his lower body while his hand searched, doing its best to find his metal piece before the shooter saw what he was doing. Frantic and fading, he grabbed one of the display guns that had fallen to the floor. The yellow tag dangled. Click. Display guns are never loaded. The shooters gave Dad's body one last sweep of bullets. He jerked up and down on the hard, uncaring floor of the store, blood exiting from fresh wounds on his legs to make room for hot new guests. Some of those guests exited just as quickly as they entered, leaving behind 2 holes of searing pain in their wake. Others dug into Dad's flesh and took residence. Finally, the shooting stopped. Dad went still. The 2 masked men, bags full of black, shiny treasures, turned around and left in a hurry, slamming the door behind them.